was the form that you chose to write the song?
That is another thing that I think can't be determined, you know, like you can't basically, well, you can't choose a meter, key signature, and a form and then plug all the notes in. I think you have to, as a composer, listen for where the piece needs to go, and that's what I did. So I only knew the form when I got to the end of the piece. You know, I just, I had no idea where the piece was going as I was composing it. I began with this melody. Let's see, what is the form? Let's talk about the form. It begins with this little fanfare, bum, 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 which is sort of announces the piece. You know, it announces everything about it, really. It tells you what the meter is going to be. It tells you the sort of energy of the piece. And then we hear the first melody. And then what happens? And then it's played again by different instruments. So I have the melody played by some instruments, same thing played by other instruments. And there's a little interlude with the saxophones, which is a different sort of mood. It's a little darker. And then, I believe, the melody's played again, right? And then there's another little statement. And then what happens? I forgot what happens, actually. Then it changes key, and then there's the it's kind of a more sunny version of the opening, right? It's kind of sweet. So, but it's basically the same material as the opening melody. It's the same. It's just tweaked a little bit to be sweeter and more, I don't know, intimate or something. And then I thought where that it moves into those legato expressive measures that we were talking about. And the key gets all messed up in there. You know, it's actually hard to tell what key it's in. And then suddenly we sort of come crashing back into this clapping. And from that point, I guess I thought, okay, I'm going to do the opening, like the mood of the opening, but even more emphatically and kind of stronger. And the clapping will continue throughout. And at that is where I started to think, okay, what can I do differently at the end? Okay, first the trumpets, the brass play this melody. Then the rest of the band plays a melody. Now what's the obvious thing to do? Have them play together so that there's two voice counterpoint, so that the audience's ear is drawn between the brass melody and the melody of the rest of the group. And that'll be the first time we've heard that in the piece. There actually hasn't been that, what we call counterpoint in the piece. And at a certain point, we got to the end of that, and I just thought I should just end it. I don't want to do anything else. I'll have another boom, 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 boom. And actually, if you guys remember the first version of the piece, I didn't do that. I think I just did, and that was the end of the piece. But I think when I first heard it, I reconsidered, and I thought actually it'd be nice to have the first measure of the piece repeated at the very end. So that's the form. I don't really know what that is. I know that maybe those of you who have studied music theory, you know about ABA or ABAC, ABA or something, but I don't really know what this is. Maybe it's somewhat like ABA, but anyway, that's somewhat of an answer.